And we're bringing you stories of local remarkable women. We asked for your nominations in December, and we've narrowed down the list to 4. We're featuring one every Tuesday. Today, Kaylee Marantet brings us the story of a woman who's helping others get the health supplies they need.
Lizney Tate. The name might sound familiar to you. That's because this isn't the first time her work has been highlighted here on 6 News. She's the executive director of Helping Women Period, a nonprofit that delivers thousands of tampons, pads, and other feminine products to women in 6 mid-Michigan counties.
In 3 months, we help 4,500 people.
Lizney's been helping thousands of girls and women for almost 6 years.
Any person who has a uterus, who's had a period, knows what it feels like to not have the product that you need.
But that's not the only thing she does.
I also helped co-found a local Facebook networking group for women. It's called Not Your Mother's Networking Group, and we have about 19,000 members who are all women or women identified who live or work within 20 miles of Lansing.
It helps connect women to what they need, like where someone can get their hair cut or even find a job. Melissa DeMung Schaefer is one of the people who nominated Lizney and says Lizney is everything that describes a remarkable woman.
There's so many things that people are lacking, that she pays attention to these things, and instead of bemoaning what's happening, she's out there doing things to make them happen.
But helping others is something Lizney doesn't even think twice about.
I come from a family of people who volunteer. Like, this is just the way life is. It's part of how you participate in your community. And so I've been volunteering since I was 5 at least.
So the question is,
why do you do what you do?
Oh, well, I do what I do because it needs to be done. Whether it's Helping Women Period or Not Your Mother's Networking Group, I'm helping connect people and helping fill needs, and I think that's important. That's an important part of being a member in this community.
Here for you in Lansing, Kaylee Marantet, 6 News.
Welcome back. We'd like to introduce you now to another local remarkable woman. She's a person who never lets an opportunity go by to give back or to right a wrong. Kiera Lake is here for you with her story.
See, I'm not the type to just want to tell you what I want to do. I'm going to do it.
We first met Tamalika Foster, a nurse, in May of 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic.
We're going into the rooms and we're helping our COVID patients, but I can't go into that room without somebody helping. I can't stand on somebody's shoulders without them knowing I appreciate them. So for me, I can't give them a hug to say thank you, but if I can give you a bag and a smile, to me, that's wonders.
She had reached out to Operation Gratitude, a nonprofit, and other organizations, which sent $22,000 in donations. Foster and other nurses assembled this into care packages for 800 McLaren staff members.
What came with these gift boxes is letters from people all over the world saying thank you. And those words help keep pushing us to stay in the fight. Those words gives us the momentum to keep going. And this is just the push that we need.
She gives. She's a person that gives constantly. She's not a taker. And she's proud of what she's done. And now you've got me sort of crying.
I can't breathe this up! But just as quickly as COVID-19 became a concern for communities across the country, viral videos of police brutality became front and center and a concern for the Black community.
I want to stop the killing. I want to stop crying.
And after seeing this, as a Black woman, Foster had set a new goal for herself.
June 27th, I had my own protest on the Capitol, and it was a silent sit-in against racism. And everybody, it was a vision that God gave me, and everybody wore white to represent peace and all the souls that's passed from violence. And yellow was our leaders, to show that our leaders need to get a bright idea for a brighter future.
Her mission was to celebrate the lives lost to violence while exposing the pain of racism. And while raising awareness, she got the attention of the Lansing police chief. And the list of contributions continues.
I spoke at the Proud Boys event, so did a moment of silence at both of McLaren's hospitals. For the Lansing Park and Recreations, their Black History Month celebration, I was staying busy.
And for the future, Foster is in the works of starting her own nonprofit. And she is also working with Michigan State Representative Sarah Anthony on the Crown Act to protect people from unequal treatment based on race-based hairstyles.
Whether it's in dreads, whether it's in braids, whether it's in my beautiful afro or my curly hair.
So why do all this?
I have children and one day I'll have grandchildren, and I want to leave a legacy, and I want to go to my grave knowing that I've changed this world for them, and not just for those that come after me, but for other people's children. And I just want to make a difference in the right way.
Here you go, Sue.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
In the spring of 2020, something remarkable grew in the city of Grand Ledge. And fittingly, it happened on the corner of Spring and Pleasant Streets. A kindness campaign that Joanne Elena has been nurturing and watering ever since.
I work for a preschool, and we've been really focusing on being kind. And so then I was off work, for the corona, and I just started thinking about all the negativity, political negativity, hatred, and I thought, gosh, what can I do? And so I just had this idea about starting to paint these signs.
But it was these two words that really spoke to the community. Choose kindness.
People just started stopping and talking about the sign, how much they loved that message. And then that's when I decided to have some printed.
And she used her first federal stimulus check to do it. Elena passed the signs out for free, hoping that people would pass that kindness forward.
I have it out in front of my house, and now these are going to go out in front of my daughter's and my son's house. They're wonderful. I'm glad she spent her money on that.
It wasn't long before her message blossomed, popping up in yards across the state. And this was just the beginning. As the months passed, Elena's effort grew from 300 to 2,300 yard signs. She partnered with a local business for Choose Kindness clothing, with $5 from each purchase going to a local COVID-19 emergency fund. She has also created hundreds of free bumper stickers and journals. She started a Choose Kindness community Facebook group and recently started painting and decorating free inspirational rocks.
I just love it, like kindness rocks, but really in quotation, kindness rocks.
And her community rocks too. Elena says when the kindness movement took off, donations to keep it going kept pouring in. Now, this all started with the initial federal relief payment. With Elena's $600 stimulus check in January, she bought fabric from the nonprofit Fleece and Thank You and has helped send 28 colorful, cozy blankets to children in Michigan hospitals.
Their goal is to have them arrive at the hospital, instead of just these blank white sheets, to have this warm blanket.
Why not scratch some things off your bucket list and spend the money that way?
Yeah, I just felt like, I'm not really in dire need of the money I didn't plan on, and it's just a really great way to give back.
And that's something everyone can do, no matter your financial situation. Kindness can sprout in any environment, and the reward is priceless. Here for you with this remarkable woman in Grand Ledge, I'm Siobhan Klepfer. We'd like to introduce you to the winner of our Remarkable Women contest, Kristen Lucas. She's been volunteering for decades, improving lives in her community. Sherry Jones brings us her remarkable story.
Kristen Lucas is the coordinator of King's Covered Food Pantry at Trinity Lutheran Church in Hillsdale. She's been volunteering in her community for decades, helping to improve the lives of countless Hillsdale County residents.
This is me talking. I think I'm in the background there.
Her journey into volunteerism started 42 years ago when she vividly remembers getting a phone call that totally changed her life.
A woman from the local mental health agency was calling, and she said they were looking for someone to start a committee to try to do something about spouse abuse. And I had been recommended to her by another person. And I was really stunned because this was totally outside of my life experience.
But that didn't deter Kristen. Instead, through her leadership, she rallied those around her and created a program offering a 24-hour crisis hotline and temporary housing. It was so successful, the state helped fund it, and soon Kristen opened an office and hired a small paid staff. Her vision took root and grew into what is now Domestic Harmony, a shelter for domestic violence victims.
At least when they are there, they're not getting beaten and they're not getting killed. Even if it's just for a night or 2 nights, which some people will do, it may keep them alive. And the more I met, the more women we worked with, the more it became clear that this was an issue that needed a whole lot of work. Not just a shelter, it needed changes in law enforcement, which we were able to bring about in those 19 years when I was the executive director of Domestic Harmony.
Kristen also saw a need to empower young girls. During the 1990s, she started Girls 2. This one-day event encouraged middle school girls to study math and sciences to prepare them for college and their future careers. In the span of 12 years, the program reached more than 1,800 girls throughout Hillsdale County. In 2001, Kristen took her passions overseas, traveling to Bratislava, Slovakia, where she taught English as a second language in a Lutheran high school.
This is one of my classes. I'm over here.
Something she had always dreamed of.
Sometimes had to get up before dawn to get to the first class. I had to ride a bus across the Danube River to the school, and I'm still in contact with some of those students. It's almost 20 years later.
A year later and back home, Kristen began serving on the board of St. Peter's Free Clinic in Hillsdale. Eventually, she became the board chair. The need for healthcare was so great that she organized the clinic's biggest annual fundraiser.
They were seeing 60, 70 individuals every Tuesday night at this free clinic. And they had volunteer doctors, volunteer pharmacists, volunteer nurses.
Kristen also stepped up when she saw seniors struggling with their income taxes. Now she's one of several volunteers who helps prepare hundreds of tax returns for low-income Hillsdale County residents. As you can see, her volunteer portfolio is diverse, but she has a philosophy about that.
With volunteering, a real win-win is when what you need to have done can be matched with someone who really likes doing that. And can I be the one to do it?
Congratulations, Kristen. Remarkable indeed.